Okay. It was read by a lot of people, I can tell.
Hmm. Okay, let me see. Let me check what
64 people
how many people.
read. 64
Ah, that's
read.
true. But then next time, uh, remember, if you want to run a campaign, the success of the campaign depends on how many messages you give them,
Okay. Okay.
not just if you give them a now. Let's say for this meeting,
Mm-hmm.
for this meeting, we want more people to attend,
Mm-hmm.
and almost everybody who reads the message is a potential person to join the meeting, because
Okay.
there was a huge number of people who said they want this time slot.
Mm-hmm.
So if so many people wanted this time slot and so many people plan to join but they don't remember, then they will not join. And a lot of people, if you think of it, after the meeting has started, many people will say, okay, all right, that I did not join, so I will not join.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how most people think. So if you want people to join, then you have to make them join in advance. You have to make them take that decision in advance.
Okay, what do you think?
Not
Is it a good idea to right now we are online now?
yes, you could do that. I still don't know how many people would actually take notice. All right, since we are here, let's talk about sales. If our connection is not so bad, then we can talk about sales and how.
Okay, great.
Uh, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, I
Okay,
can
okay, all
see
right.
you.
Okay, so I was not good. You can see me twice. One moving picture and one not moving picture.
Yes,
All right. Okay, so what I was trying to say,
about sales.
every every sale is
Mm-hmm.
every sale happens before the decision is made.
Okay.
That's a little confusing,
Yes,
right?
a little bit. How I can decide,
Okay.
how I can, yeah. What?
Yes, that's the whole idea. So every sale is made before the decision is made. Now, what
Mm-hmm.
that means is there are two parts to every decision. The first part of the decision is when you don't know that you already decided.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of the decision is when you know that you decided and you make it known to other people
Okay.
or communicated. But the first part of the decision is you don't know that you already decided. Now, how does this happen? If you notice what TV advertisements do, do you watch TV?
No.
Okay, so I come from a time period where we used to watch a lot of TV because we had no other entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so when you watch TV or any advertisement. Now, okay, let's take Facebook advertisement. If you wanted to launch a brand on Facebook, how would you do it? You would just put one announcement and that's it, finished.
No, you put a lot. That's
No.
maybe that the people start be annoying of this and just check it to see is it.
Yes. So the repetition, you know, if you say, if you repeat the exposure, it's called the exposure. Okay. So if you have repeated exposure, then you automatically develop some kind of attachment,
Mm-hmm.
an emotional attachment in your subconscious to that brand or to that activity or to that decision. So uh, using WhatsApp, for example. If you use WhatsApp very frequently, then you will not prefer to use any other messenger.
Mm-hmm.
It's because your exposure to WhatsApp is more frequent than any other messenger. Not because any other messenger is not providing you the same features or more features. It's just because we have a comfort in our subconscious mind
Mm-hmm.
for that particular brand or activity. So, if you say, for example, if you announce the meeting and you are putting a reminder, say, when I used to announce the meeting, I used to say, okay, we are going to have a meeting in 24 hours time.
Mm-hmm.
And then another message, we are going to have the meeting in 12 hours time. We are going to have the meeting in 6 hours time. We are going to have, there are only 4 more hours left for the meeting. In
Mm-hmm.
3 hours, you will have something big is going to happen. 2 more hours, are you ready? 1 hour, get ready, get moving. So there's always a push for action. Get ready, get moving. Come on, let's do it. We are going live in the next 10 minutes. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we are live. So we make that kind of expression. Why? Because we want repeated exposures.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell the same person, this is the meeting that you want to be, this is where you want to be, this is where you should be, this you have to make this a priority, you have to try what is going on over here, go and check how it happens, put your face over there, see who is present over there, see how the meeting is happening, look at what the topics they are discussing, do you think you can introduce a topic? So repeated messages which tell the audience that they have to make this a priority.
Okay.
It's a process of sale. It's a sales process. It's not a it's not just about information. Providing information is the responsibility of marketing. So marketing provides information, but sales provides a call for action. Okay, your video is stuck.
You're not
Or,
stuck, you're moving.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I just want to make sure that what I'm saying is, I'm very doubtful about the network coverage for data in this place. So this is a very bad signal area, and I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm only on 3G data, so I don't know how good the connection would be. So if I
Do you
keep
have
hearing
do you have enough mobile data for the meeting?
data, you mean
Yes.
package? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I have unlimited data. I have unlimited data and unlimited calls, so I don't
Okay.
restrict myself because I communication is in my blood. So I need communication and I need facilities for communication. I cannot do without it. But the thing is, I don't know how strong the signal is, so that's the only reason I'm asking.
I think that only 2 or 3 times your speak was like lowly, but it was okay after that. So for now, so far, so good.
So okay, all right. So this is one area where you might want to think, but this is a responsibility. It is not just if you now right now what you're doing is an announcement.
Mm-hmm.
You are saying at this time 24 hours from now we will have a meeting. So you are saying this, but you are not telling them come join. Okay, after some time, aren't you joining? Why are you not joining? Why don't you consider this? Why don't you make this a priority? So you have to be insisting, and it is easier to learn that insisting in something like this where you are not liable for anyone.
Yeah, but I think that if I do a lot of messages
But
like this, I will
in
be so
our real life, even if you go for an interview, uh-huh.
okay. So I think that it will be so annoying for the people, so they will start to leaving or just don't take it serious, and this is the missing part for me. How
Oh,
to not be annoying and to do the good job with the announcement and the sales, like they say, to
okay.
close the deal.
So, right. Yes. So, when you think of it, you can repeat the same message in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to repeat the same message. You can say the message in a different way, but mean the same thing.
Okay.
Now, I told you so many lines in this conversation.
Yes, yes.
So I do it. Each line is a different approach. Each line or each instance, I say something different, but the point is the same. Each time I'm saying, remember, this is the time for the meeting. Remember, this is the time for the meeting. Remember, you have to join the meeting. Remember, you have to make this a priority. So I'm just reminding them of different things, but the result should be the same. The result is that I want someone to be in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the result that I want. Just that I approach it in different ways. Just that I approach it in ways which don't make it boring or repeating. Yeah, if you notice, very rarely I have repeated messages in the same about the same topic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to become a little creative and think of presenting it in a different way. So every time you present it in a different way, you are achieving your reminder. But think of it this way. We see the same advertisements in Facebook. We see the same advertisements on TV. We don't get bored of it. So there is a certain number of times that you can be exposed to something before you become bored of it.
Okay.
The and the how people don't get bored of it is uh, when they feel that there is something in it for them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, when you make a TV ad or when you make a Facebook ad, have you noticed some of the video Facebook ads? They are probably selling some kind of training, or they're selling some kind of webinars, or
Yes.
uh, uh, they start with something that makes you curious.
Mm-hmm.
It generates curiosity. So most of the time, and this is one of the most important tools that network marketing experts use. Good salespeople in network marketing, they use this technique. They say, um, they ask a question. Now, asking a question gives you two results. One is it allows the other person to think. Now, I
Yes.
am telling you all these things. Instead, if I ask you a question, what would happen?
What will happen when if I do a lot of messages and advertising, or if I don't do them?
No, no, no. What will happen if I ask you a question?
I will start thinking, but I will be confused like just 30 seconds before.
Okay, so
And
this is not about me asking you a question. If anyone asks you a question,
mm, it depends of the situation. If it's from nowhere and just asking me question, I will be annoyed and just stop the connection, or the speaking, or the message, or whatever channel he or she use to connect me and message me
okay,
and ask me these questions.
let's take a situation.
Okay.
Okay, someone you know,
Yeah.
but not so close.
Okay.
You already know them. They ask you a question.
And I will answer.
Before you answer, you have to think of the answer,
Yes.
right? So, and then you will give the answer. So there are two things which are happening. One is you are thinking, the other is you are responding,
Given the answer. Yeah.
right? So two things are happening. Now, what it does is it makes you think. So you will come up with an answer, and then you make a choice to say the answer. Sometimes you think you have one answer as the right answer, and then you have another answer which you say. When we started this conversation, you said, how are how are you, how have you been, right? So I think first, and then I give you an answer. So the answer that I give may or may not be true, but the answer that I give is always after I think.
Okay.
So I can give you a true answer. So I can say I had a good time. Okay, today I really did have a good time. I did some driving, so which was I did some a good 2 hours of driving. So I always enjoy driving. So that was good. I spoke to someone. I spoke to three people over the phone while I was driving. So that was good as well because I was able to communicate and I was able to use that time that I was driving for a good reason otherwise. So I was enjoying the driving and I was enjoying the conversation as well. While I was driving, I saw a great piece of architecture, so I stopped and I took a picture. I noted where is that location where I found that architecture. So that was interesting for me. So that was a good part as well. Then I came, I joined my wife's parents, my in-laws, and so we had a good time. We met after a while, so we were talking to each other, sharing, making video calls with my family. So that was good as well. So it was good. Now, even if none of these things were happening, I could say, now, if I had a bad day, I could either say, no, today I had a good day, so I said I had a great day, or I'm fine, or whatever. If I had a bad day, I would think, you ask, how was your day? And I would think, oh, this was terrible. This was terrible. I did not get a chance to do this. I planned on doing this, but then this happened, so it became a disaster. So many things which could have gone wrong and did go wrong will come to my mind. And I know that there is so much of bad things that happened in today's life. I would say, oh, you say, how was your day? Oh, my day was fine. So this is not the true answer, but this is the answer that I responded. And there is a different answer that I thought about.
Hmm.
So I do some thinking and I do some speaking, I do some responding. And that response may or may not be the same as my thinking. Now, when
Hmm.
you are asked a question, now, uh, in sales, when we start with a question, the best part is that you are getting them to think about the answer. So if you put your question in the right way, structure, then they immediately know the answer to that question. They may respond in a different way. That's the second part. But they already start thinking of the answer that you want them to think. That is, if you have the right kind of question, if you have the right frame, if you have the right structure of the question. So the moment they start thinking about it, it doesn't matter what they respond, but they already know the truth, right? They already know the
Yes.
truth. They may give you a false answer. They may give you a false answer, but you have to, okay, which you have to respond to. But the point is that the conversation starts moving. So a question is a great conversation starter. Number one, it gets the other person thinking. Number two, and depending on the response, it gives you an opportunity to continue the conversation. So if they say, if they give you a false answer, now, are you in financial trouble?
No.
This is so that could be
A
that
false
could be
answer
a
or the true answer?
true answer. Now, if I know you in advance, or if I do my background study in advance, or if I look at the indications, now I can look at your jewelry, I can look at your watch, I can look at your shoes, I can look at your dress, I can look at the way you behave and understand if you have financial trouble or you don't have financial trouble. I can look at so many different signs and try to collect information. So observation is a huge part of making a successful sale. Now, observation, or in other words, it is also called research.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, especially if you are communicating with someone over the email, there is no way to observe the other person, but you can do your research. You can collect information about the company that they work for. You can collect information about the role that they hold. Where is the role in the corporate structure? So how much decision making power do they have? Or how many people can they command? How many people work under this person? So how many, what kind of authority does this
I
person
cannot
have?
hear you right now.
Or who is the reporting officer? Okay. Is it better now?
Right
Is
now,
it better
yes.
now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
But please repeat
Uh,
last 10 seconds.
okay. Hmm. Okay. So
About the
because
observation and resources and
okay.
research.
So if you
You
are
start,
research, okay.
yeah.
All right. So if you are communicating by email, you cannot always understand whether what kind of person they are, but you can understand the work culture. You can understand how many people work under them, what kind of authority they have, what is the who is their reporting officer or designation of their reporting officer. uh, what kind of decisions can this person take, what kind of decisions can the next person take? Should I talk to this person, or should I ask for one level of escalation? Should
Hmm.
I go one level up to talk? So many times we have to make decisions based on our observation and based on our research, right? So observation, research, they are the same, just two different situations, right? So sales is basically responding to all these observations. If you observe and you ask a question, uh, if I see you in a simple dress, I can assume that you are either a very simple person or you are broke, right? I can do both kind of observations. I can do both kind of choices. But what will help me decide if you are broke or you are a simple person?
I don't know.
When I speak to you, probably this is very subjective. It depends on situation to situation. So if I speak to you, sometimes you may speak in simple terms. So you are not only simple in your dress, you are also simple in your speech. You are simple in your approach to other things. So it depends on not just one factor, but each factor is important.
Hmm.
Okay. And then you have to have that practice or experience to pick the right question. And as you learn more situations, you will have more right questions.
Hmm.
And this is a practical thing, so you have to do it to experience it, do it to learn it, to practice it. But as you see different situations, as you experience more people, experience more communication, this is why we spoke about communication and the importance of it earlier.
Hmm.
So if there is more communication, then you get practice on that communication, and then you start analyzing how people are responding to each of your questions. Sometimes they respond favorably, sometimes they give you unexpected response. Is that unexpected response because my question was not right, or because the context was not right, or because their situation was not right? So where is this? So this is all a subjective thing, but it gets better and better. It becomes more accurate with practice.
Hmm.
So if that was the case, then this would be sales would become more and more effective as you start practicing and as you follow these questions more. In fact, there is a book which is Burke. I don't remember which Burke. 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 So the book is Questions Are the Answers. So if you want to sell something to someone, begin with asking them questions.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them questions, then they will start to realize, because they start thinking, each
Mm-hmm.
answer they have to give or each question that you ask them, it starts to make them think what if they really have this requirement or not,
Mm-hmm.
if they really need to involve in this or not. So every decision is after a question.
Okay.
So as you learn to ask the right questions, you will learn to sell more. It can be selling concept, it can be selling products, it can be selling services, whatever you want to sell. The best way to promote, to sell, is to ask questions. Now, you ask a question in your message and you say, do you really want to miss it?
Yes.
Now, that is the last line that you finished on your message, right? Do
Yes.
you really want to miss it? I
Yes.
like that question a lot. Now, when you ask that question, everybody starts thinking, no, I shouldn't miss it. But then I don't get another reminder. I forget and I miss it. And after a while, let's say if I miss 3 meetings, the fourth one I ignore,
Yeah.
right? So when I miss 3 meetings, then the fourth one is easy to ignore. I say, okay, I did not attend the last 3 meetings. Now, maybe the fourth one is maybe this meeting is a continuation of those 3 meetings. So maybe I shouldn't join. So people or our audience, our customers start making excuses. Now, when
Mm-hmm.
they start making excuses, we start losing the battle,
Okay.
right? So, for them to not uh, make an excuse, you have to reduce the number of excuses that they can make. One of the excuses that they make, or one of the most common excuses that they would make, I forgot, I missed it, I did not
Mm-hmm.
remember. So what do? You send them constant reminders. You are in fact helping them. You are helping them in the decision that they made, or in the thing, to follow up on the thinking. Now, another way that, now this is the reason why you would want to send more reminders. So you are answering the question of why send more reminders. Send more reminders because you want to help them remember,
Mm-hmm.
not because you want to annoy them, but because you want to help them to remember. So that is your why.
And
The
they
next
cannot
is
use the excuse that they forgot
exactly
because remind them. Yeah. Okay.
remind. All right. So that is number one. Now, once you answer the why, then you have to put the question how. How or what? All right. So when you say how, say, okay, make a variety of reminders, not just one reminder. Join the meeting, join the meeting, join the meeting, join the meeting, join the meeting. No, this is not right. What is important? is that they say, okay, sometimes you give them a nice pat on the back and say, nice to see you in the last meeting. I hope we can see in the next meeting as well. Or, I wish to see you all over there. It has been a while since we spoke. So many different ways to put it. Now, you
Yes.
can be a mother, you can be a friend, you can be a sister, you can be a boss, you can be uh, um, a colleague, you can be so many different things. You can be a motivator, you can be an investor, you can be so many things when you want to present something. So you look at the same thing through different eyes and you see different perspectives. Every time you see a different perspective, you present it in that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Or rather, every time you want a different perspective, look at it through the eyes of a different person.
Okay.
Look at it through the eyes of an investor, look at it through the eyes of a motivator, look at it through the eyes of a challenger, look at it through the eyes of a competitor, look at it through the eyes of a friend. Okay, all right. So we were on the why, and then we finished the why, and then we have, okay, because there could be more whys, but there is one primary why which we need to believe in, and that why is that we are helping people to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The next is the how or the what. So if you want to, the how shows you what kind of presentation you will make.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you look at it from different perspectives. You look at it from mother, father, friend, competitor, investor, whatever. You do all that, and then you do your presentation so that you can present a new dimension. You can present a new perspective of the same thing and bring everything to the same result. Yes.
Hello, Roger. Please unmute yourself.
Sorry, sorry, sorry.
It's
Hello,
okay. It's
everyone.
okay.
Hi,
Hello,
Roger.
everyone.
Nice to see you again.
Me too. Thank you.
Excellent. We were discussing about sales.
Okay.
All right. Is everything audible to you? Is the connection good?
For me, yes. I'm going to use my microphone. Maybe it's better to hear you.
No, we can hear you perfectly well. Is it possible for you to hear us?
And now, could you say something?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it's better. Sorry. Now it's okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right. So we were talking about sales and we just covered one portion of it, which is the why.
Okay.
Okay. So there is always a reason that we believe for sales. So I'm just going to summarize it. Uh, we believe that there is a reason for sale. If we have to sell something, we believe that there is a reason to sell. And the first part of being a salesperson or making a sale is to identify what is my why, what is my reason to sell. Now, we were discussing this in the context of announcing this particular meeting on our club. So for the last couple of weeks, Vicky has been doing or Queen V has been doing the announcements. So, uh, so yes, those announcements, now we're trying to look at ways of making the sale better. If we think of those announcements as a sale, so it's a package or it's a program that we are announcing, and we want more people to join that event. So how do we make it more attractive, or how do we let more people make it a priority? So the first thing is to understand what is the reason for me to want more people to join. And then once I know why I want more people to join, the next is to continuously tell them, repeat with them that they need to join, they need to join, they need to join in different ways, in ways which they don't find very annoying. So, so the why is about what we believe, and how is about how we present it. So when you want to present something in multiple perspectives, if you want to make it less boring, you have to present it in multiple perspectives. Look at it through different eyes, different perspectives. Think of it as if you are an investor looking at the reason. Think of it as if you are, oh, hi Ben, so nice to see you after such a long time.
Hi, Vin.
Okay, all right, okay. So he can't speak, right?
Yes.
But he allows us to see him,
Yes.
right? Okay, now let's see. Okay, good, good. Okay, so there is a reason to sell. So there is a why, and there is a how to present it. So how to present it repeatedly, so that people, they, if you present something repeatedly to people, two things happen. One is they are constantly reminded of the brand or of the event or of the incident. Now, this can happen with good things and bad things as well. So, if you are at work, your HR constantly reminds you, if you don't perform, you will not get a bonus. If you don't perform, we will throw you out of the company. If you don't perform, we will promote someone else in your place. If you don't perform, then you may be downgraded. If you don't perform, then your benefits will be chopped off. If you don't perform, we will not give you health insurance anymore. So they give you different negative feedback, but they tell you the same thing. They tell you, work hard, work more, spend more time at work. So this is what they're trying to tell you, but they tell you in different ways. Now, this is about negative motivation.
Hmm.
So I am not very interested in negative motivation, but just I wanted to pick a live example, something that really happens in life. So I did that. But the best way to do to achieve good results is to use positive motivation or reinforcing motivation. So reinforcing motivation is what most salespeople do. Now, HR is also a sales department, but they just don't call themselves sales department. But salespeople, mostly we do positive motivation. We say, okay, this is a really good product. This is something that will take care of your requirement. This is something that fits into your budget. This is something that your kids will love. Now, this is a very powerful statement. This is something that your kids will love. And then any parent would just pay the money. Right? So, this is something that your kids would love. This is something that will last a long time for you. Now, these are all messages that we have heard in real life when we meet salespeople, right? This is value for money. Now, this is really the latest fashion. This is the newest trend. This is what everyone is buying these days. So, what are they actually trying to do? They are presenting the same information, or they are leading to the same result in different ways. When they say this is value for money, they are actually talking to a budget conscious person, or they are talking to the financial person, financial manager in you. So every person has different roles to play, and one of our roles is to be a financial manager or a finance manager. So if you are a finance manager, then you want more for every dollar you spend, or uh, every rupee you spend, or every lira you spend. So they want more. So this is a statement which says this is value for money. So when you say value for money, whatever you're paying, you are getting a good return on that. So that talks about return on investment. If you invest or if you spend this money, your returns are good. When you say your kids would love it, they're talking to the parent in you. So you can see how each role that they assume you will be choosing has a different perspective. So when they talk to the parent in you, they use one line. When they talk to the investor in you, they use another line. When they talk to the finance manager in you, they use a different line. When they talk to the uh, when they talk to the fan, Apple has a lot of fans. Most of the Apple products sell not because most people want them, need them, but because people want them. So they have fan following. So it's brand loyalty. So when they talk to different people inside your mind, they use different lines. And depending on which person is more stronger, which person in your mind is more powerful to make that decision, the decision is already formed in your mind even before you know it. So one of these, then you really think, you are trying to think about the decision, but the moment you start thinking about the product or the service, or whether it is actually value for money, whether it is actually something that your kids would enjoy, whether it is actually something that is going to take care of your requirement, the moment you start thinking about it, the sale is already completed. Because that is where the subconscious, this is why uh, you have to approach the same result from different perspectives, because you don't know which perspective your audience or your customer is looking at it from. Now, Ben was into short-term rentals. So I'm sure one of the lines he would have used is, this is one of the most convenient spots that you can find. So you are selling convenience. You are talking to the person who has to take the workload, or who has to take the effort. So you are telling that person, this is going to make your life simple. This is going to help you. So the moment the customer says, okay, is it really going to help me? Okay, done. Sale done. Finished. Now he has already started thinking about it. That means you have brought him into the path. Now all you have to do is push him on the path. He is already connected with you there. He has made a favorable choice, but he doesn't know it yet. And as a salesperson with some experience, you will see that twinkle in the customer's eyes, you will see the indicator, you will see the signs that the customer is, you will it's called the trigger or the click. You will see the click with the customer. The moment you know the click has happened, then you know which perspective he is using and which perspective you need to enlarge. Now, if you see a if you know that your customer has already clicked on that perspective, then you can enlarge that perspective and confirm his decision. So he has already made a decision, and what you are actually trying to do is to make him say that decision. So the process, this is the process of, or let's say one side of the process of the sale. You know, you have to believe why you are making the sale. So once you believe why you're making the sale, then you have to look at the different perspectives through which your customer might see the product or the sale or the service. And once you know which perspective clicks with the customer, you have to enlarge that view for him. So he is probably looking at it through a window. You take him out of that window and you show him everything there is. So you know, okay, he sees the big picture. So the third portion is where you enlarge the customer's perspective, and the fourth is where you help him state, speak, or confirm his decision. So you could make, now, why many sales fail is because you don't go through the whole process. Now, going through the whole process, now you know that the decision is made only in the third and the fourth stages. In the third stage, where you know the click has happened. When the click happens, the sale has happened in the customer's mind. The next stage, when you expand his perspective, then the customer will confirm his decision in words or in actions. So that is when one is an internal decision, the second is an external decision. So why sales fails sometimes, or for many people sales fails, because they don't go through the first two. They don't know why they sell, and they can't go through different perspectives that their customer might be experiencing. Now, if I am a salesperson, if I'm an average salesperson, let's say, I don't believe why I need to sell. I only know I need to sell this so I get my money. This is my duty. This is my responsibility. I need to sell so I can make money. Now, this is not a good reason to sell. This is, in fact, this is the worst reason to sell. A good reason to sell would be that I want to help you complete or fulfill your requirement. I want to help you. So that word help is most important. Now, if you look at Kiyosaki also, Kiyosaki goes by the same principle. He says, the more number of people you help, the more money you can make. This is from one of his books. I don't remember which one, but this is exactly how he says it. If you help more people, or the more number of people you help, the more money that you can make. So sales, one of the good reasons to sell is that you want to help the other person. Now we were talking about sales in the context of having more attendees in this meeting. Now, if that is the case, the reason why we would want more people to attend is so we can have better interactions with other people, is that we can have more people learn deeper about financial education, is that we can have a better community of people who are capable of communicating with each other, and so we have more resources to solve our problems, or we have more resources to support each other. So these are all reasons why we have this meeting. So I believe in all these meetings, which is why I try to do these meetings, or this meeting will go on and on when we find more people. Now, I don't know what Queen V believes, but she has been very proactive in this meeting. So why don't you think about why you want these meetings to go forward?
Okay, and to answer now, or to just put it in my messages for the next meeting, for example, and be more proactive in reminds messages.
Okay, now since you asked this question, I will speak a little more.
Okay.
Okay. Now, one thing about sales is to grab the opportunity immediately. Right? So if you are asked a question, now if I ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
I gave you an opportunity. And now what you actually did was to postpone the opportunity. You tried to postpone the opportunity. Now, I believe one of the reasons why you did that was because you want to give a good answer rather than think and answer at the same time right now.
Maybe, or maybe to just take more time so I can answer and think more.
That's the same thing that I said.
Okay.
Think more and answer it. Now, but the important thing is to answer and think at the same time. Now, you responded in this way, and I immediately brought this topic in.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not scripted.
Mm-hmm.
I respond when the situation comes.
Yes.
Because I captured that opportunity and I'm passing a message and I'm saying, don't be afraid, take the opportunity. It's okay to be wrong. But it is important to do it now.
Okay.
So every time you have this opportunity, now I might just continue talking. You will give me another chance to talk, and I might just continue talking, and you might lose your opportunity.
Yeah.
This can happen, especially with me, right? So, what you should be doing is say, okay, this is my opportunity. I will answer now, and if they want a different answer, I can think and give it later. But I have already used my opportunity. You should also think, okay, there are 4 of us in this meeting. Out of the 4 of us, I am the best person to answer this because I was here from the beginning. I know more than anybody else in this meeting. I have been part of this discussion for a longer time than Roger or Ben. And the best part is that I picked you to respond. So it is a direct invitation.
Yeah, and
Now,
I'm not sure why you chose
if
me.
all right, now
And a
you are
little bit
again trying
scary.
to push for it.
And a
Okay,
little
you
bit
are
scary
again
about
trying.
that.
Okay, so
So I know why
throw your
I
fear
love.
out of the window.
Yeah, so I open
Yes.
it and
Okay.
throw it. So
Okay.
the reason why I love these meetings is because of the opportunity to talk about our experience, our financial education, what we, for example, I studied at university, or you have in a life experience with business or meetings or whatever. Ben, who read a lot, and we missed his lines and books and list with books and everything. Roger, smiling every time, do a good, good atmosphere in the meeting. Everybody participate with something. I Roger, is not only this one, but this is the first thing that I remember when I see your face. So everybody participate with something. Everybody put some value in these meetings. So this is the reason why I really love and enjoy these meetings, and I want to continue. Also, Steve, who every every time wins the game, and it's really amazing to watch his play and to see how he managed to do it and how he think about the deals, and not only to calculate ROE or whatever, return on investment and so on. It just, okay, this is good, but at that time, because in your life you have, for example, the same opportunity like other people, but decision you make is different because of the situation you are right now. For example, in the game is profession, or if you are already in the negative cash flow, and so on and so on. So that's are the reasons why I love to do it, and that's the reason why I start to put these messages, and I will continue to do it, and will continue to do it in the better way, because also this helps me to grow with, for example, this session for sales, how to do it better, how to do it. Sorry, I just check if there is somebody in the waiting room. So yeah, this is the reason why I want to do it. And we met a lot of people for last 6 months. I don't know how many new joiners, new members we have, but they're from different parts, and it's really interesting to see how people think in different areas of the world. So you can continue speaking, Lee.
Okay, that was not so bad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
So now about the wrong part in my answer.
no, I want to ask Roger also the same thing, but not why he makes the announcement, but why he joins the meeting.
Okay. Well, maybe in other meetings I talk about it, but as Victoria said, for me also I miss a lot this conversation, because it's like when I join or when join it to the meeting, it's because I'm 100% sure that I will learn something in investment, and also your knowledgement, because I know that you are powerful, you have a lot of experience, and other members too, but all of us know that you are not like one mentor or something like that. You are more than mentor. you are also friend, and you are humble. It's the most important for me. And also I want to know more about the the business, and also improve my understanding and my listening in English, because as you can notice, I am not good at speaking in English, but I'm trying to practice also. And then to learn more about the game. Maybe in the future, if there is something to share in my experience, I can share. But at the moment, yes, I know, as I said before, I work for a company, but in this company I have no I mean, I have no chance to learn something about business. Just work for third parts, and all my effort, everything that I will be done is for the third parts, no for me. For me, maybe it's experience and money because it's salary, but no to build a business or to build something. And then also for the environment is so good. Listen, your experience, and see the keep in contact with people from other countries, because we didn't meet physically, or just online. So this kind of reason. Mhm.
All right. Okay. So I will not ask Ben because he is not supposed to speak right now. Or are you supposed to speak yet? No. Okay. You
Can you hear
can
me?
do hand gestures. Yes, yes, I
Can you
can
hear
hear you.
me? Okay, good.
Yes.
No, I'm right now. I'm in the office writing about the day, so nobody's here. So, so yeah.
Okay.
So, any questions for me?
Yeah, sure. Same thing. You came back after a long time. Why did you come back?
Yeah, basically, what happened was I lost my phone in the ground, and slowly but surely, the phone was getting darker and darker, and all my notes, everything I had on my phone was like this. It just disappeared in a second. So
Okay.
while I was working on getting a new phone, I lost everything of even motivation and all that stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
I didn't even touch anything that had to do with what I did before, basically. So yeah, so that's why.
All right. So, okay. So let's get back to the topic and let's look at what answers we got. All right. So, when, why we came to this topic or why we came to this question is because we wanted to see how, how do we put it? We wanted to see how to put things in the why. Okay, how to understand why we do something, how to understand or what do we understand about our belief in a particular system. Now if you look at that, look at the answers. Now Queen V wants to be wants these meetings to go on, wants these wants to participate here because she wants to be in a good environment, learn more, uh, see more people share their experience, including my experience, of course, but more people sharing their experience, and so on. Roger wants to be here because he wants to grow in business, which is not possible in his own company. Ben tries to get back over here, is motivated to come back over here because he has to start fresh. So different people have different reasons to be part of something, or to they believe in different reasons to be uh, participating. Now, I have a different reason, which I already said. Now, look at the reason and try to understand, is it pointing inwards or is it pointing outwards? Now, a good salesperson has a reason which is pointing outwards. A good salesperson believes in a reason which is pointing outwards. If you are doing it inwards,
can you give the example for the outwards and inwards? So because it's a little bit unclear for me.
Okay, good.
And we have 3 more minutes for this session.
I will make it as fast as possible. Now, if you look at take the case of Ben. Ben lost his phone. Now he wants a new phone, or he wants to repair his old phone. He wants to retrieve the data. Now he meets a salesperson, an inwards salesperson, someone who wants to sell because he wants to make money. I need to sell this phone because it gives me a commission, it gives me a profit. This is how I make my living. If the salesperson is a person who thinks like that, I need to sell this phone. Right. So when a salesperson starts thinking like that, he is an inward thinking salesperson. He is making the sale, or he is trying to ask Ben to buy the phone, or he is asking Ben to repair his old phone because the sales guy, me, I need the money. I need money which is in your pocket. This is the attitude of an inwards thinking salesperson, inwards believing salesperson. His reason is pointing inwards. Now, on the other hand, if there was a salesperson who is outwards, now, if I were an outward salesperson and I would tell Ben, see Ben, the fact that you have lost your phone is really terrible. What I can help you with is, if you give me your budget, I can suggest a good phone which will handle your requirements. Or if you tell me what you use your phone for, what purpose you use your phone, do you use a lot of WhatsApp? Do you use a lot of storage? Do you take a lot of pictures? Is it important for you to have a cloud storage? If you tell me all these reasons, then I will make a recommendation based on what you have told me, based on your needs. Which would be preferable? Which salesperson would you go to?
Of course, the second one. So outwards person.
Outwards, because you have the experience of being cared for. You have the experience of being understood, right? You are understanding your customer, you're understanding your customer's needs, you are understanding your customer's sensitivities, and you are making a recommendation which is up. Good. Okay, so there was 2 kinds of salesmen. One is the salesman who only understood what I need, and the other is the person who understood what the customer needs and made the customer comfortable by giving them the assurance that I understand you and your requirement, and I will give you what is appropriate. All right.
For example, in this situation, yes, because there are a lot of men in that group. You need a woman. So I'm here for that reason. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Don't kill me.
Okay. So, okay. So that is a good one, though. So, right. So those are the kind of salesmen. So if you would want to be the second kind of salesman, the kind of salesman who understands, that is when you go through these four stages of making the sale. First is, of course, you believe yourself why you need the other person to buy this product. You need to believe why, not why I need the other person to buy this product, but you believe in the reason why why you think the other person needs this product. Right, so that is your why. Then there is the how, when you start presenting in different perspectives according to what you think they would see, or according to what your different kind of audience would see. So you understand multiple perspectives and you present your product, you present your service, and you present your information in different ways, but leading to the same result. Once you know which perspective is most important for your customer, then you amplify. That means the customer has already started making that decision in his mind, although he doesn't know it yet. Then you amplify, you expand his horizon, you expand his vision, and you help him see. Now this is really important. I like this line a lot. You help him see everything that he missed out before. So that means he has already taken his decision in his mind. And the fourth is that you make him confirm, you make him respond, you make him speak about his decision. And that is the four stages of making a good sale, in which there is a win-win situation. The customer is happy and loyal because they know that you have given them what they have demanded. So you are putting the customer in control of the game, although you know that this is the result that you want. The result that you want is that you need to make the customer take a favorable decision. Now imagine if they make a favorable decision, the next thing that they have to do is to put that decision into action. Now, putting that decision into action depends on a lot of other factors. Even though they may not put it into action, they will still make a decision which is favorable to you. Now, if I wanted a television and I go to the shop and the sales guy is a good guy, the second kind of guy, the guy who understands me, the guy who wants to give me exactly what I need. So he listens to me, understands me, and I'm not willing to compromise on any of my requirements. I want a 55-inch TV. I want it in LCD. I want it with a built-in Blu-ray player and all those kind of things. Now, when I say this, and I also give them my budget, and I say, okay, this is my budget. Now the salesman says, sir, we have exactly what you want, but not in the budget that you want it with. Now I have two choices. Now, I have already made my decision. I want this TV, I want this television because it completely fits into my requirement. But my decision does not convert into action. Why? Because I'm short of money, probably. It does not fit into my budget. I don't have enough cash, or I don't have enough liquidity, or I don't have enough credit to make a purchase. Now, I have two choices. One is I can compromise my demands, but that would leave me unhappy. Or I can postpone my action. So when I postpone my action, it does not change my decision. My decision is still in favor of what the salesman wants as a result. What the result that the salesman wants is not that he wants to sell the TV, is that he wants to offer me a TV which is exactly according to my requirement. And this is where the why of the salesman is more important. Because if I wanted to buy something from a salesman who only wanted to sell because he wanted to sell it, that is not the result that the salesman should be looking at if he wanted to sell me this option. If the salesman wants to handle my requirement, even though my decision is favorable to him, my action may not be favorable, but my decision will continue to be favorable until I have the capability to take the action. Or if I compromise on my demand, then I will still go back to the same salesman and say, see, I have compromised on this demand, this portion of the demand. Do you have another option for me? So there is I don't I can't remember how it was exactly phrased. Let me think. Okay, so this is the idea. So even though you might be buying as a company to company, let's say my company is buying from Roger's company. I'm the decision maker in my company, and Roger is a decision maker in his company. If we are doing a transaction, it would still be between Roger and me. It would depend on a lot of things. It would depend on our companies as well. But the major decision is the relationship between Roger and me. So we would look at it, people buy from people. It's not a company buying from another company. It's people buying from people. Now, if the people don't like each other, then it's very difficult to make the deal happen. So it's the same thing with between a boss and a subordinate. So people work for their boss. They don't work for the company. They work for their boss. If they don't like the boss, they will leave, or they will pray that the boss will leave. Right. So it is always between people. So it is important what people believe and how they express what they believe. Now, sales is an expression of what the salesman believes. Sales is an expression of how the salesman converts his belief into his revenue. So if I believe I need it, then it becomes a self-centered salesperson. If I believe that you need it, then it becomes easier for me to make that sale because people feel. Now, one of the reasons I'm here as in this club or uh, in this meeting is not only because I believe I need it, is also because I believe you need it. So when you make a sale, it is very important to know that the customer needs it, because everything is based on the customer, everything is based on the need of the customer. Now, this conversation itself started on something like that, is about what needs to change in Queen V's communication so that Queen V can become better at making a better deal about this meeting. Right? So it is about what the customer needs. It's not about what I need. It's still not about what I need. I am a salesman. I am actually trying to sell my concept to you. I'm trying to sell my belief to you. But I'm telling you that it is because you need something that either you realize or I'm helping you realize you need something. And it is that something that I'm going to say, or it is that something that I'm going to communicate with you. And when I communicate that, then I have already opened, I have shown you the big picture. I have told you the summary. I have found the click and I have expanded the picture. Now I will take the response. Now, in this case, there is the response or the decision that you need to speak is very simple. So it is not, we don't have to go to the fourth stage. But in the third stage, this is where we are right now. We have expanded our view. We have discussed what. Okay, is that Roger? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you can hear us, right?
Yes, I'm hear you. After
Oh,
you finish, I will ask you some question, but no now.
okay. Go ahead. Shoot.
Okay, thank you. Let's to suppose, for instance, you and me. I mean, you will seller and I will your customer. And you mentioned that
Okay.
you must know and learn something that I need, right?
Yes.
What happened? What happened if okay, you thinking that you know what I need, but in the process you realize that there is something missing, and how you will be able to solve it or to change it within affect the or affect the customer.
Okay. I'm going to tell you what I understood. So you have
Okay.
to tell me if I understood correctly.
Okay.
Okay. So uh, I think as a seller or as a salesman, I think that I already know what you want, and I'm going to start the sales process. And then I realize that my understanding was wrong. You need something else, and I am pushing the wrong product.
Yes. This was my question.
Is this the right way?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you are trying to consider the situation where you make a mistake about your understanding. So you have to admit your mistake, right? This
Yes.
is the difficult part for you.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. So your question is basically about how do I handle the embarrassing situation where I misunderstood your requirement.
That's correct.
All right. Okay. Now, what I just did was a sales process.
So
Did you understand what happened in this process, in this question and answer?
Yeah, but no 100%. When you said yes,
Okay.
I will. Okay.
All right. So what we did right now was a sales process. I clarified, more clarified. I put it in one way, I put it in another way, and I we came to the understanding that I know what you want, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you can keep your microphone on unmute so this process will become faster. Okay. All right. So I am questioning you, I'm putting you through different situations to give you the confidence that I understood your requirement. Did you feel that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is the first process. Now, this is a very good opportunity. Now, we will go through this conversation and I will answer your question as well as I will go through the whole sales process in
Okay.
practical terms. All right. So, this is the only way to understand the customer. When the customer says something, you give it back to the customer in your own understanding, so the customer gets the confidence that yes, the salesperson has understood my requirement, or the salesperson has understood my sensitivities, right? This is one. Now, if you make an assumption before speaking to the customer and you try to communicate the wrong product to the customer, this is your question. Now, before you start selling to a customer, it is very important to know who you are selling to. It is very important to make a relationship. Like I said, the sale always happens between two uh, persons, two people, not between two companies, not between the boss and not between two departments. It happens between the boss and the subordinate. It happens between the person in one company and the person in another company, or seller in one company and purchaser in the other company. If they don't have a relationship, the sale is very difficult to happen. If the boss and the subordinate have a bad relationship, then work is very difficult to happen. So the result is delayed or absent if the relationship between the people is not established. So if you want to sell something, if I wanted to sell something, the first thing I would do is to establish a relationship. Now, this does not have to be a very deep relationship, but it has to be a very cordial relationship, a casual, a free relationship where communication is possible. Now, one of the most important things about any relationship is communication. Now, if we do not communicate in a relationship, the relationship will die or the relationship will never happen. So communication is the most important part of any relationship. So a relationship first, or let's say communication first, a relationship next, then starts the analysis of the need. So now let's assume you communicated, you established a relationship, then you communicated the need, and you made a mistake in your understanding. You realize your mistake in your understanding. The next thing that you would do is to simply admit, based on your relationship, that you made a mistake. Now, if you already took money for it, or if you already started working on it, it is going to be a very difficult situation, which is why before you finalize a project, before you make an employment contract. You do a lot of discussions, you do interviews, you do meetings, you do group discussions, you do a lot of things before you sign the contract or before you exchange money. Now, so it is very difficult to go wrong in those kind of sales where you have a huge project or you have a lot of money and you have a lot of discussions. You make an employment contract after so many interviews. If you just walk into a place and they say, okay, you are hired, then it's a different case because they don't know who you are and they don't know anything about you or your background. So it is going to be a very strange relationship, at least to begin with. But if they did several rounds of interview before they hired you, if they did level 1, level 2, level 3 interviews and said, okay, you have cleared these interviews, then it's easier for them to establish a relationship. It is easier for you to communicate. Now, if this does not happen, now if this across the counter, let's say you are a mobile phone salesman and you understand the customer's requirement wrongly and you offer them a product which will really not be useful for them, and you realize it and you say, okay, sir, I think I misunderstood your requirement. This, because you already have that relationship, you're already communicating with it. It's not like you suddenly come up and say, now, okay, I can also give you another situation where you were not part of the communication, but you have to take responsibility for the mistake that has happened. Let's assume you are in a company and your position just became vacant because someone left the company. You joined the company and there is already a dispute that is going on because of the wrong product or because of the wrong service that was delivered. Now you have come into this new position and you don't know what was going on. You just assumed your responsibility. You joined the organization and you took up that responsibility, and the first thing that comes to you is the dispute that is happening between your client and your company. Now, if that is the case, what would you do? Now, this is where you have to restart communication. Everywhere, the relationship is the most important part. Where if you establish your relationship, then you can always communicate and come to a middle ground. Now, when communication fails, then you have another Asian, which is litigation. So either you can communicate and you can resolve your problems, or you can litigate and resolve your problems. Now, I don't know, Roger, if you understood the word litigation.
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. So when communication fails, then you have litigation or you have arbitration. Arbitration is when the judge tries to not give you a sentence, but he tries to negotiate between both parties. So that's arbitration. So either you have communication, or you have arbitration, or you have litigation. So you can only have. All right, someone on the Cashflow Club. So
Yes,
many
yes,
people.
yes.
All right, okay. I can read that later. All right. So it will follow this process. But the best part of this process is the communication part. So if you have communication, then you have a relationship. If you have relationship, then you have the option of resolving an issue. And one of the issues that you may have to resolve is having sold the wrong product or having offered the wrong product. So if you're talking about smaller products, most of the time the mistake is realized before the sale happens. So you can avoid the embarrassment by admitting your mistake. There is no I know in a lot of cultures, making a mistake is unacceptable.
Yes,
Making a mistake
in my company happen a lot.
making a mistake is unacceptable. But again, it is not about not making a mistake. It is about trying to not make a mistake. But if a mistake is made, is trying to uh, not let it happen again, or not let it repeat under any other circumstance. So, learning from a mistake and fixing the issue which caused the mistake. Okay, now I can give you an example from my own life and from my own experience. So, okay, Queen V is already smiling. Okay, so I was giving an example.
Yes, because Roger, when you have a good relationship with the other side, you can say, okay, sorry, I'm wrong, I did misunderstanding or something like that, and it won't be a big deal. So you can the customers, for example, will trust you again because you don't try to dig the mistake. You try to not repeat it, to fix it. So he will appreciate that. So he knows that he can trust you. And he said, okay, he did the mistake, but he tried to fix it. And now we are on the same page. So we can continue the working or the deal or whatever. So this is really, really important. And this is why relationship and good communication, I will tell, not just communication, good communication are before the sales and before the close deal. So Lee, give us your example, because we have a huge. I have example
Right.
in my company too about.
I will give you 2 examples.
Okay.
Go ahead. I want to hear from you.
For example, in my not my company, but the company for which I work, the system make a huge mistake for millions, really. And the customer says, what? I will not pay this. You make a mistake. And we say, okay, sorry, we really made a mistake. The system made a mistake. So let's fix this and let's try to not do this mistake again. And we talk with the technical support and so on and so on. So how we can fix this mistake. But because of the good communication and because of the strong relationship between these two companies, we were okay with this, and was there not bad stuff after that. So it was really, really good example about the communication and about the relationships.
Okay, so that was good. I will give you a similar example. So I have been a contractor for many multinationals while I was in Dubai, or while I was part of my company in Dubai, before I gave away my company. So while that was going on, every time there was a problem, or every time there was an issue which was our fault, I always made sure that our communication was faster than their discovery. So if we found the problem first, and most of the time we find the problem first, because that's what we are best at. We find problems and we solve them. So if we found the problem first, I would always report the problem before the customer has a chance to find the problem.
Mhm.
And because of that, the customer, we enjoyed a great amount of trust. Imagine we had keys to their office, so we could work on weekends. While they are off, we could fix their systems, we could upgrade their systems on weekends, and we would have the key to their office, and we would work unsupervised in their office because of this reason. Whatever mistake we found from our side, from the system side, it didn't matter where the mistake was. We were focused on fixing the problem, not fixing the blame. So because of that, our customers, their trust in our company, in our services was increased. And we continued to get orders, and we continued to work unsupervised because the customer was loyal to us. The loyalty for the customer increased, as well as uh, the order values also started increasing. Okay, so this was one example. The other
Mhm.
example of a wrong analysis. Okay, once I was given the responsibility. Okay, we were my company. I was doing sales, and I was working at the time for someone. And the company, the one of the companies in Dubai, they told us they need some kind of training for their staff to do better sales, or to they wanted to increase their productivity. And they thought that giving them training on sales techniques would, or rather like
We the Lee, the microphone is mute right now. Try it now.
all right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay, cool. So all right, good. When we looked at the organization, what the salespeople, we found that most of the salespeople were old people, or very senior people who had moved from typewriter to computer. So they were still thinking like typewriter, but they were working on computer. What they needed was not motivation. What they needed was training to do their work faster. So it is not a mistake from our side, but it is a mistake on the part of the wrong representation of the need by the customer. So even the customer can misunderstand their requirement. So as a salesperson, it is important for us to establish that communication, establish that relationship, and ask questions, understand, repeat what we understood to make sure that we are on the same page. Once we know that we are on the same page, then we know that we have to present our solution. And it is about presenting the solution that we have to do in the multiple perspectives part. And we move on to expanding their horizons, expanding their picture, and making them take the decisions. All right. Now, to add to this answer, now, Roger, if you imagine you are an employee under a boss, and you're a very hardworking employee. All right, cool. So you're a very hardworking employee and you make very few mistakes, or you try hard not to make mistakes, you try hard to do more innovative stuff, or you take more initiative, you do things differently, you do things, you try to improve things, and in the process you make a few mistakes. Consider what you need to focus on, even if you are trying to defend yourself. First part, of course, is to use your relationship to admit that you made a mistake. However, I made the mistake while trying to improve this system because I have identified that there is a potential for more productivity if we fix this issue that we are facing, or if we make this process a little better, or if we are able to save a little time here, if we are able to improve the machine that is operating in this plant. So something like that. So there is a mistake that happened. I admit there is a mistake, but this was in the process of trying to improve something, and I have identified a need to improve this particular specific area, and I believe that this is the principle, or this is the theory that I was operating on. Now, do you think a boss with his good